Welcome back to Horror at Random. I am Brian, and you're back with all the horror goodness. Today, we're doing a new segment, starting it off with Slasher Reviews here, Dillon from Slasher Reviews, and it's called My Top 5. So, first of all, before we get into anything, let me remind you, I got a podcast called Fandom at Random. Go to fandomatrandom.com, check it out, and I'm going to let Dillon here introduce himself and let you guys know where you can find him. So, what's up, Dillon?
Hey y'all, great segue. Dillon here. I run the TikTok account SlasherReviews. You can pretty much find me there. I'm on pretty much every social media platform that there is. Literally, you type Slasher Reviews, you're going to find me. I'm even on YouTube. Haven't posted in like a hot minute because I'm not gonna lie. It's like, and I think you could probably vouch to this. When like there's so many platforms and you feel like you got to be on every single platform, and then you notice that when you post on one platform over to the other, most people tend to migrate towards one or to the other more.
Yes.
I've noticed it's like the second that I got TikTok, YouTube went shoop, and then so like I just most of the time post on TikTok. I'm on Letterboxd. I'm on every. I think I even have a Facebook account that I have not used in like 4 or 5 years.
I mean, I am mid-30s, so I have one, and I'm only a little ashamed to admit it, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of the same with me. I have nowhere near the following as you on TikTok, but with that being said, TikTok is the platform where I found that a lot of things get better outreach rather than YouTube, Instagram, that type of thing,
Yeah, and I will admit, I watch YouTube videos. Hell, I watch YouTube videos like daily.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point now where I've found like my niche group, I feel like, and I'm only like half the time I'm just watching those niche groups because I have the bell notification on.
Oh,
But
yeah.
with TikTok, it's like you have the For You page, the follower account, and now the friends section,
Oh,
which
my God.
is like, dare I say, the best thing ever. I barely ever go to For You now. It's just like
Yep.
I'm constantly just watching my mutuals videos.
Right? They really, oh man, like not to veer off too much, but TikTok caught lightning in a bottle. It's just the UI, the community, and the fact that it blew up and now you can find anything on there is just, it's better.
And what's great about it is a lot of people still think it's a dancing app. So while there is toxicity on that app, and I'm only speaking for myself. Not to downgrade anybody else's, but I don't experience it as much as I do on especially Twitter and especially on YouTube, because the comment section or replies and it gets over. Like, luckily, I feel like with TikTok, there's still like a lot of people out there who still think it's a dancing app, and that there's people out there not even post. Yes, people are still doing the Lizzo dance a year later, but like there are a lot of people who are in the community, like the horror community on TikTok has just gotten so like great. It feels like
it really has.
So you can. To short answer, to make a long answer short, I post on TikTok a lot. I'm always posting about horror films, and I'm obviously from the title of this, I'm obviously clearly a massive slasher movie fan.
But
I also talk about every horror film pretty much. Like, if there's a movie and I want to talk about it, hell, I'm gonna make a video about it.
Well, I, for one, have been excited about this because personally, like when I found your channel, dude, your energy, your personality that comes through in the videos, when your videos pop up, it's one of my favorites because I don't know. Like I said, some people just have it. And when you talk about horror, your personality, your energy, all of that comes through the video. I love it. I wanted to get you on here to interview it. And speaking of slasher reviews, the top 5 today is going to be best slasher sequels. And the idea behind this is to get somebody on here, call it my top 5. I'm not going to have a top 5. This is all going to be from Dillon over here. And I'm going to break it down from worst to first, talk a little bit about each one, and just kind of get to know you along the way. So
yeah,
sounds good to you. We can get started.
All right. So sorry if you see me checking my phone. That's the level of professionalism that I am, have you guys?
I do it too, so don't worry about it.
So, if you see me looking at my phone, it's not because I'm ignoring y'all. It's just because,
Right.
yeah. So number 5, I have none other than Scream 4. Yeah, you hear me. I am a Scream 4 defender, have been since day one. I love Scream 4. I think that yes, we could talk about how it looks ugly and how maybe Wes Craven was trying to make a statement on that.
Yeah.
But honestly, it looks ugly. That's my only issue with Scream 4.
Right.
Everything about Scream 4 is fantastic. I think it has, before Scream 5 came out, I thought it had arguably, in a lot of ways, the best opening outside the original. I love Scream 4's opening. And it actually is technically my favorite kill, because I just loved how, I love the kill where they're sitting on the talk, Anna Paquin just won't shut up, and she's talking, and then all of a sudden she just stabs the hell out of Christian Bale. Shocked me to my core in the cinema.
It really did, man.
And that scene was like it was right then and there. I could have married a movie on the spot. I was like, I love everything, and technically it was also, I think, the first Wes Craven film I saw in the theaters.
Oh, okay.
So because I got into horror very, very late. I got into it
better late than never.
Exactly. The year was, take you back, 2005 when I got into horror. First horror film I ever saw in the theaters was Final Destination 3.
Nice.
But my first horror film ever was Friday the 13th. So
there you go.
Spoiler alert for the future of this list.
Yeah, right. Slasher reviews, I have a hard time believing Friday the 13th won't make it in this. But
spoiler alert. I make a ton of Friday the 13th TikToks. It's like every day it's like I'm having a new idea for a Friday the 13th TikTok.
I feel like it's honestly talked about less nowadays than it used to be, so that's good that somebody's keeping it alive,
someone has to keep it alive while while Jason is fighting for his life in a courtroom and trying to get back out. Someone has to keep him relevant to the conversation. So if I have to do it, I will do it. But so number 5 is definitely Scream 4. I love everything about it. The killer, loved it when I saw it in the theater. Love the killer's motivation, especially today in this YouTube TikTok world where everyone's trying to go viral and be famous and do all they're literally, you see like Logan Paul type of characters. You see people throwing themselves out there, doing whatever they can to be relevant, go to doing all that stuff, and it couldn't have been more relevant than ever. And let me tell you, I needed a day when I heard the box office revenue. Like, I went and saw it that opening night, and then I needed to not curse my father for making me go to school that Monday morning, because I should not have gone, because I was distraught when I heard how poorly it did.
It is. It's crazy. I mean, I will say I was one of the people who didn't like it at first. It took me about 2-3 watches. Now it's second on my list of Scream movies. And my favorite kill, obviously, is the beginning as well. I completely agree with you. And Jill, by the way, spoilers. I mean, we're going to be talking about older movies here. If you're watching and you really haven't figured it out, there's going to be spoilers.
Exactly. Luckily, I like to think people are smart enough, and they hear a movie that, like, I haven't watched. They just take the little bar and they just skim on over to a spot where they see another movie.
You're more optimistic than I am.
I know, but people in the comment section will be like, "What are you spoiling?"
Right?
Like, sir, we're talking about a movie from 1979, or something like. I'm just like, sir.
It's like, come on, man. If you haven't seen, that's all on you. But anyway, so Scream 4, I am on the same page as you. Love it. Glad it's on your list. And Jill as a killer was amazing. Emma Roberts did a really great job.
Absolutely. When she was throwing herself, that whole sequence where she's throwing herself around is so playful. It's so fun. And I just absolutely ate it up. And Sidney Prescott in the movie, like, they're kind of like, a lot of Scream 5 is kind of a little bit of Scream 4. Like, Sidney's not the main focus. She kind of just comes in and out. You are focusing on these new group of kids a lot. And you could definitely tell Wes Craven was trying to pass the torch, but no one went and saw the film. So we didn't get his Scream 4, 5, and 6 that he originally had planned.
But
who knows? I don't know if maybe Scream 6 is going to tap into maybe his lost pages of what he was planning on doing.
That'd be nice. Yeah,
it would be
because
nice.
Scream 5, while I liked it in the theater, it's kind of knocked down a little bit for me since then.
Yeah, I would kind of agree. I loved it, and I have a little bit of bias because they did shoot Scream 5 where I live.
Oh, okay.
Fun fact, I even have a TikTok that I made way
Nice.
back where I like took people to the filming locations of certain movies, because there are certain they have shot a lot of horror films where I live.
Yeah.
So The Conjuring, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Exorcist 3, like all these films. Yeah, The Crow. All these films are shot where I live. Now, granted, we have a bad reputation with TV shows. Bad reputation. It's like every TV show gets canceled. It's like we got Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill, and then like after that, every show just went.
Oh God.
So I know I've never seen an episode of those shows, but all I hear is talks about it. It's like, and I'm like, we are standing on like the land that is like, Woodsboro and technically Halloween Kills. So we have, like Haddonfield and Woodsboro here, and y'all are still talking about old properties. Like, move on.
Like, move on. Get
move
it,
on.
right?
Get it. This is a spooky beach town. Okay, let's get this right.
Absolutely.
Well,
so obviously Scream on the list and coming in at number 5. So and I like I said, I'm gonna ask you your favorite kill. You already gave me that, so let's get on to number 4. What do we got?
Number 4. Look, I'm sir of hot takes. I swear, y'all, we will get to the 80s. But number 4 is a very, very recent one, and it is Fear Street 1978, baby.
All right.
I am a massive Fear Street fanatic.
Yeah, okay. See, I'm gonna be honest, the whole trilogy I'm just okay on, but 78 was definitely the best one out of all of them.
Out of all of them. I we'll say in later films, there's a certain franchise that is like low-key my favorite. So if you set a movie at a campsite, you are already gonna get a positive score out of me.
That's where I'm at.
And also Sadie Sinks is an actress. I love her so much. So seeing that she was gonna be the lead focus of this, my favorite moment in the entire Fear Street films, particularly, is when we first see when the killer is when Sadie Sinks is fighting the killer and he puts the mask on the killer, and you get this awesome freaking shot of like the killer with his like axe or whatnot, and it's just like this awesome moment. I'm telling you, it was like when Captain America grabbed the Major and like in game, I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Man, it really had those other slasher film vibes, and like you said, one of my favorite slashers too, held at a campsite, and it just gave off so many nostalgic vibes while keeping its own thing going, keeping it unique to its trilogy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think also what helped with it is like I did grow up reading a lot of Goosebumps and Fear Streets, and like I'm very much a product of like scary stories to tell in the dark, like a product of reading those type of stories. So seeing whenever those type of things get adapted, I'm always going to have a little bit of nostalgia with. Watching them, it's also like I'm being harkened back to like my younger self reading these novels and also watching these type of films. So 1978, particularly for me, from the music choices, I also thought the music choices were done a lot better than this one. I thought 1994 was a little heavy-handed. Like I think in like one scene we have like 3 musical drops in like less than 5 minutes.
It's like, hey, we're in this time period. Just so you didn't forget, we're in this time period. Here's a bunch of music, like just dumped on you. You know?
There's less killing. I sometimes feel like in this particular one, I think the best kills in the series are still in 1994. But I just like overall like, because I mean that shredder in 1994 was a great freaking kill.
Oh yeah,
and the woman like that was a great kill. But I also grew up. Because I grew up I live in the South, North Carolina. I'm used to going camping a lot. So also for me, tapping into the fears of camping and like seeing games like Capture the Flag, I'm harking back because I have like war stories of me fighting for my life during Capture the Flag games, y'all. Okay.
Right.
Like, so like when I see Color Wars and Capture the Flag, and I'm like, Been there, man. Been there. You're gonna.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I lived
So
in New England and still do, and I still go camping as an adult for fun. Even though I'm like a glamper, I'm not gonna admit that I'm like, oh, I love nature and shit. I love being out there, but at the same time, I need my phone. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, absolutely. I don't
You know?
completely shut up. I'm always on this
Right.
thing now.
So now it's like fun to I always go out camping. I remember when I was a kid, I'd be like, "Oh, this is like Wrong Turn or Friday the 13th. This is awesome." And everyone else is like, "You're a fucking weirdo, dude."
Exactly. I would remember many nights we'd be sitting around a campfire or like and like everybody would be just talking about like, girls and stuff, and I'm like, someone tell a freaking scary story. Like the vibe is set. Like, come on, y'all. I don't want to hear about, Bridget, how you're not going to get with her. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to happen.
We hear
bro.
about this shit at school. We're camping. Let's do something different.
Yeah. Let's call on the Blair Witch or something. Like, let's have her come out and play. Like,
so
y'all.
What is your favorite kill, the opening, or what is your favorite kill in this movie?
Okay. I really like the death of the sister. At the very, very end, because you have this awesome overhead shot of the both of them trying to hold hands. So it's and it's also like you have all these killers coming after them.
Right.
Like, and it's so like, oh my God, it's like so epic. And yeah, the movie's not very scary, but I find it extremely entertaining. And I think Fear Street does a great job of establishing these characters. And it's shockingly how you have so many characters in all three of these films.
Yes.
And now, and I want to go ahead and address the elephant in the room is there will be movies of the 80s. It's just I noticed when I was making this list that a lot of slasher sequels really don't get great unless they're from like that's why we're always talking about the same horror franchises because all the really good slasher sequels are in the popular franchises.
It's very true. That's why they're franchises because the sequels hold up, even if the worst ones still hold up and don't hold the candle. I mean, hold the candle to other lesser known movies,
Yeah, like right on the cusp of this list, it was like Slumber Party Massacre 2, and stuff like that, which I think are great movies, but like I'm not going to secretly lie to audience members and say, yeah, I watched Slumber Party Massacre 2 more than Fear Street 1978. No,
no.
Exactly. I had a blast with this movie. This was like I think when I made my top 10 list, I think this was like number 3 of like favorite horror films of last year. I was like
awesome,
full blown. It's very hard for me not to like a slasher movie. You really have to go out of your way and maybe like, I don't know, not have good kills or something like that. Like I'll like, so
trying to think of a slasher I haven't liked recently, which it'll take me some thinking because like you,
I'm sure
there
is one.
I'm very biased. I'm sure there are some, but I can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
like I do such a good job that if I see a bad slasher, I'm like, let's not
right.
I suppress that shit.
Actually, I got one. The Mutilator. I just watched it on Tubi. And let me guess, you probably love it, but I was watching it and I'm like, this is goddamn terrible.
Okay, it is I like to call it a vanilla slasher because it is not a lot of slashing going on in that movie. But I'm also biased for 2 reasons. It is shot about 20 minutes from where my parents live.
Oh, no shit.
And that bar is still active. All this stuff. The house is still standing. Been remodeled. But also it has a theme song. We're going on a fall break, and that whole sequence is played like a Friends opening, and it's so stupid and silly that it was immediately like, I love this, and I don't care what else happens after this. The
music was really like wonky for the movie, but you're right, it adds a certain charm to it, I guess. But man, that opening, I guess it's when I watched it because unfortunately, not to speak of current events, but the opening after what had just happened the week before, I was like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, that's weird. But bad timing. That's all it was. Bad timing.
Yeah. And I will admit, when someone said, I'm not like ready to fight people who like don't like the Mutilator.
Right.
Like I like it for selfish reasons.
But no, it was fun. But like I said, if I had to choose one right off the bat, that would be it. And Fear Street 78, not only is it a good slasher, but I can admit it's a well-made movie just all around, and it's shot well. The acting is amazing. Sadie Sink, I think, is a up-and-coming star in horror if she sticks to it.
I know we say gatekeeping is bad. It is, but can we somehow keep her in horror? Like gatekeep her in a friendly way in horror?
Yeah, like,
It's
hey,
like her and Jenna Ortega are like
keep her
just
with compliments. Like, you are so frigging
so
amazing.
good, so
You
good.
just shine. And horror is going nothing but up right now. So
Exactly.
it's not like you're getting typecast. Horror is amazing. You could be in an A24 film. You could be in an Eggers film. You could be in a Flanagan film. You could be a superstar. And like you said, nice gatekeeping.
Yes, nice gatekeep. It's like what Jenna Ortega is doing. Like she did an A24 horror film. She's in a Scream film, and then she's also doing low budget B movies like Studio 666.
Yeah.
So it's like you can have a wide variety. Whoever Jenna Ortega's agent is needs a raise because they are doing good.
And they're coming out with Wednesday.
She's about to play Wednesday Addams, an iconic character that Tim Burton's bringing back to like.
They're doing something right.
Her agent is working overtime. So,
right.
And I love Sadie Sink as an actress. I love most of the Stranger Things actors as a whole. But when I look at Sadie Sink, I'm like, out of everyone on this list that I feel like has a chance of getting gold, I feel like it's Sadie Sink.
Yeah, because everyone's all obsessed with Millie Bobby Brown, or they were. And I get it. She did great as 11. But when Max came in and as her character progressed, I got a special feeling like, okay, this girl right here, she seems like the next final girl coming up.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Millie Bobby Brown take the franchise route, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
there's nothing wrong with going like the blockbuster franchise route and doing that stuff. It's working great for actors like Tom Holland and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Sadie Sink has a real shot at like really becoming like a golden, like prestigious like star, but I also want to keep her in horror. Okay. I understand as an actor, you got to go outside every now and then. Like Wes Craven did it. Sam Raimi has done it where they go off, they direct or act in other things, but then they always come back to horror. Okay.
Keep the roots. Keep the roots. So if you're watching this, keep your roots in horror.
Yes, please. I think she's great, and she's so good in Fear Street 1978. I absolutely loved her character. And having it tied back into the previous films. I wish she was in 1666 more.
Yeah.
She's barely in it.
Yeah, she's just very quick in and out. Yeah.
Now, granted, that movie has a great kill. It's not really a kill, but the thing with the hand in 1668 is fantastic. So while I think the kills in 78 are probably the weakest, I overall was here for the vibes, and I think it is a great follow-up sequel, and it really gets hype for 1666 with the ending and having the reveal be that who's that Community actress that is in the, I forget her name.
Oh yeah,
but
I know exactly who you're talking about.
She ends up being, we find out, you know, that she was that character. So I really liked how they handled all that.
Jillian Jacobs?
Jillian Jacobs. Love her.
Yeah.
Love her.
Amazing.
Yes.
But Fear Street, amazing. If you guys haven't checked it out, for sure, definitely check it out. And keep an eye on Sadie Sink because she's going to be a star. So number 4 now. What do we got for number 3? Now you're getting my favorite slasher territory.
Yes. We are talking about A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, baby.
Boom.
This is a beast of a movie. Like, this is Freddy Krueger on full-on beast mode. Now,
absolutely.
He is taking no prisoners. They're like, with most of these slash films, everyone always can like pinpoint directly to one kill. There's a ton of kills in this thing that can be arguably the best.
Really good ones. I mean, Joey's, the puppeteer, or the marionette.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of them, you know.
Now I will admit, I don't read me wrong, folks. I'm not as big of a Freddy guy as most people are.
Oh,
yeah.
No, that's okay because I get it. Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. I am a hardcore Jason guy. I feel like when I hear people ask, like, what's your favorite horror franchises? When I hear a lot of people say Nightmare on Elm Street, I feel like they're not as kind to the Jason sequels. While I am a massive Jason fan, and I'm not as kind to some of these Nightmare sequels. Now, some of these Nightmare sequels are great, and some of them I cannot watch.
So let me just come out freely and admit that Nightmare on Elm Street 2 would have been my pick for best sequels, or at least, yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2, to me, first of all, Dream Warriors is amazing. It's when funny Freddy and terrifying Freddy have a perfect balance, and that's where it all comes together. I love the fact that Freddy is still very much fucking scary in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and I'm a little biased because it was my first horror movie ever.
Oh, okay. So that's see, I had seen A Nightmare on Elm Street about 1,000 times, and then I couldn't ever justify why they made so many sequels. And then I eventually watched Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and I was one of those folks who couldn't, for the longest time, separate the fact that why is Freddy just casually walking around in the real world, stuff like that. Now, granted, only recently, because I do get the privilege to covering some film festivals and stuff like that. Yeah. And I did go to Fantastic Fest where they had the Scream Queens documentary playing, and
that's a good one.
Patton was like the main actor guy was there.
Mark Patton, yeah.
Mark Patton was there, and he was, the way he talked about it. Then I went back and rewatched it, and then I was able to see it for the way it was.
Yep.
And it made me appreciate it a lot more. Now I'm a lot more kinder to it.
That's good.
But
yeah.
I would dare I say, like, I would think Wes Craven's New Nightmare would be the best second if there was more killing in it. If there was more killing in it.
Yes.
There's just not enough horror in that movie. But it's a really great story, but it's just not enough horror in that movie.
The meta thing was really good. The story was really good, but absolutely the kills needed to just up it a little bit.
Yeah. There was it felt like it was very severely lacking in the horror department, but that's not lacking in this baddie. This is a full-on monster, and also it has a boss-ass song.
Yes.
You know, who doesn't listen to Dream Warriors at least once a week?
God,
like
it
is
so good.
Such a great song.
Just
I love
such 80s in your face.
Your face. I love this song. I love all the kills. Patricia Arquette and her screaming in this movie.
We get Nancy back.
Nancy back. And who doesn't love a hospital setting?
Yeah.
Like absolutely. It's everything about this movie is top notch.
Yeah.
From just the one-liners, from "It's primetime, bitch," like everything, like, which secretly leads into my favorite kill.
Yes. It's either going to be that or the marionette, I feel like, for most people.
Exactly. I am definitely it's primetime, because I am always quoting that line every time. I can't tell you how many times I've sat down for a movie and I'm just like, it's primetime.
It's primetime, right? You said with friends,
so,
and it really, it just, again, it had the perfect balance of comedy and terror and great acting, and we got the original final girl back. Really, if I didn't have a bias towards 2, this would be the best sequel for sure for me.
I'm when people, I honestly applaud the folks who secretly say, as much as I love 1, 3 is my favorite. I'm like, you know what, you're cool. You're cool.
Yeah, right.
I can't quite go there, because I think there's too many iconic kills in that first film that just provoked a fear in me like no other. And
something that launched my personal favorite franchise, even if I like 2 or 3 more than 1, sometimes most of the time 1 I love more than anything else. I just can't. Like you said, I can't notch it up to 3 being better.
Freddy, like, some of those sequels to me are like just unwatchable.
Unfortunately, we have The Dream Child. That one was really bad. And then
Freddy's Nightmare or
Freddy's
something?
Dead.
Freddy's Dead.
Yep.
And I tried watching the TV series a while back ago. I couldn't do it.
It's on Tubi now. The first one, the first episode was good. And dude, I'm a huge Freddy fan, and even I couldn't make it through the whole series. I was just I couldn't. No,
not
strong enough.
Not strong enough.
So of course, Nightmare on Elm Street had to make it on here, number 3. And now we're getting into the nitty gritty. Mm-hmm. This is where I want to go, because we get to know Dillon here with his favorite slasher.
Oh yeah.
So what's number 2?
Number 2 is Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, the
Nice.
one that is a lot of people's favorite. It is my second favorite. I love this movie. I can quote it. I can do the dance. I love this movie. Honestly, the dance is my favorite part of the movie. It's not even like all Jason and the kills and all that stuff. When he does his little chaotic like thrust. I can't tell you how many times.
Or whatever.
Is it Crispin Glover?
Yes. I think you're right.
You have Crispin Glover in this movie, and you have young Corey Feldman as Tommy Jarvis. I also love that entire final sequence in this film. And in my opinion, this film has the scariest final sequence in any of the Friday 13 films. I love all of the whole back half of this movie. There's so many great kills in this film, and I love the characters. Like, this is just a pure Friday 13 film, and it just gets everything right.
The characters were a shining aspect of this movie, I think, especially with young Tommy Jarvis, Corey Feldman, and the kill for me was like they started out as some really cool camera effects, right? Slow-mo, that type of thing. And mine was always when the girl gets tossed out the window in the rain.
That's mine. No way. That is not only is that my favorite, but it's also like one of my go-to like memes that I like to just throw out on the internet. Like when someone gives me an opinion that I don't like, I'm just like, you. Like, that is my favorite.
That's good.
That is
And it's not like a normal slasher kill that you think somebody would pick as their favorite. But the camera effect, the rain, the character, everything. It was so good.
What I like, it's like also like in part 3, my favorite kill is like the handstand, because it's just like who would you imagine getting like chopped in half with a handstand?
So and it just quick enough to see the guts and the blood come down.
And like it's also done in 3D, so you can tell like he's standing on like a mirror, like a piece of glass. So like I always love creative kills like that, not necessarily on which one is the most violent or the goriest. So like I just love the way that they're like tossed out, and I also love the way like how they kind of harken back to part 2 at the end with like having him like shave his head and all that stuff and try to trick and play a mind game with Jason, because Jason at the end of the day is an idiot. You know, he's just like get off my property, which I do respect.
He's a simpleton, but he's respectful. But and then the sounds, die.
Exactly. I have mad respect. Like my best friend, her favorite of the Friday 13 films is part 4. I mad respect to anyone who absolutely loves this movie. To me, it's a bona fide slasher. I think it also recaps everything. So like with all the Friday 13 films, you're kind of like seeing Jason build his armor. And so part 4 is like the one where he gets his mask in the third one, but like part 4 is like he's got everything from the start. He is in full blown armor, and now we get to see him in his glory days doing everything before we get part 5, which
I was gonna say, and then we get part 5 where as we all know, Jason is absent from the film. Well,
he's technically absent, but they do like. I like part 5 until the twist. I think some of the kills are absolutely brutal in that movie.
If I'm not mistaken, so I just watched Crystal Lake Memories actually a couple days ago. The most kills in a Friday 13th up to that point, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love the chocolate bar kill in part 5, where the guy's just like, leave me alone. He's like, I don't want your chocolate bar. So he just like kills him.
When I first saw that, I was like, whoa. Like,
exactly. Every time I'll put on a Friday film, like I will literally watch almost any Friday 13th film any day of the week, except for for me, I think a lot of these franchises like Michael and Jason and Leatherface, they have mostly bad sequels. For me, Friday 13th is the most consistent horror franchise because
and that's it's kind of weird because most people would say Halloween does. I would personally say Friday the 13th does, and I'm a Nightmare fan. So I agree with you.
And maybe it's almost consistent to a fault that maybe some of these sequels bleed a little bit together. They're like, did that one happen to this one or that one happen to that one? Maybe to a fault. There are some Halloween sequels that I just cannot watch as well.
No.
Just cannot watch. But with Friday, I can watch any of them any day of the week except for Jason Goes to Hell.
Yes.
No.
No. I call him the ass demon or whatever, just because like he's crawling in people. Let's face it.
That's not my hashtag. Not my Jason.
No,
that's not my Jason, man.
Even though it was why am I blanking on his fucking name right now? One of the most famous people who played Jason. Kane Hodder.
Kane Hodder. Yes.
Even though it was Kane Hodder, the glimpse we got of Jason, I still can't respect it.
No, I don't can't. I that movie is a travesty.
While we're on it, not to drag this out too long, what do you think of Jason X? I need to know.
Jason X is I don't support the term guilty pleasure. I think Jason X is, you had a bunch of writers. They wrote a movie where Jason went to space, and we got a movie where Jason went to space. And it is a setup. It lives up to its premise and more. You got freaking David Cronenberg playing a small role in the film. And you're going to tell me that this movie is bad? You're going to look at me and tell me that Jason taking a woman's head, slamming it into an acid water, and then smashing her head into pieces is bad? You're going to tell me a movie where Jason's he just wanted his machete back. That line in a movie is bad?
Yeah.
No. Jason explodes an entire planet with you're going to tell me that movie's bad? No. Jason X is a gem. It's a
gem. I can respect that opinion. I absolutely can. And I agree that most of the kills are by far some of the best in the series.
Yeah.
I have yet to watch it and be like, okay, I can watch that again though. I just I don't know. I can't.
I love the sleeping bag scene where you have these two naked women and flirting with Jay. Like, that movie is everything.
It is pure, they took all the cliches. They didn't even try to take some. Yeah. They took every cliche and threw it in there and said, fuck it, let's have fun with this movie. And I can at least respect that.
Yeah. And I will say, and I don't like to admit it, the first time I watched Jason X, I was not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's understandable.
I think I was like, why did they take how have they massacred my boy? I couldn't understand it. I couldn't. And then then one day it just hit me. It was like an epiphany. I was watching and I was having the time of my life. And I was like, did all of a sudden my taste get bad? Or did I just, honestly, I like to say that I am a man of taste. I'm a man that has taste, not a man of taste.
Okay.
So,
that's a good one. Yeah, that's fair. I'm going to use that because I feel the same way.
Yeah, there are some very I today just posted a video of 5 films that I thought were overrated, and one of them is this prestigious Academy Award winning film, and I'm like, but have you heard of Jason X?
Dude, you're talking to somebody whose one of his favorite horror movies is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I admit it. I am not ashamed of it, and I will die on that fucking hill.
When it comes to Rob Zombie, I want to be best friends with him. I think that man is the coolest dude. I will admit, I am not quite a fan of his filmography.
Most people aren't. Yeah,
most people aren't. I feel like that man just needs someone in the room with him that is not his best friend, just kind of stirring him in a little bit of a direction. Because I think 31 could be the coolest freaking movie ever if it wasn't edited like a 7-second TikTok. There's a cut every 7 seconds.
It really is.
Yeah.
He's hit or miss for me. So I am not a complete movie Rob Zombie fan, but I will admit that Halloween 2, at the time I watched it, hit me like a bag of bricks. Don't know why. Annie's death scene, the way Michael is so brutal.
Yeah.
And I know I always feel like I'm going to get canceled if I say this in horror, but Halloween has never been my top 3 movies. So
okay, so Halloween is not in my top 3 favorite horror films of all time. It makes my top 10. I am a Michael Myers fan. I like Michael Myers more than Freddy. I will admit that.
Okay, all right, that's fair though.
Yeah, I will admit that. But also I'm just not as attached to Halloween. Personally, my second favorite Halloween film is Halloween 3: Season of the Witch. So I think that says more about my attachment towards Halloween, because I feel like when you look at people's rankings, Halloween 3 is either high or very low.
Yes.
And for
Never in the
me,
middle.
and I feel like when I do agree that kill in Halloween 2 is brutal, because when you watch Andy's death, you see Jamie from Halloween 4.
Yeah.
And that, so because you watch, you're like, so, and man,
Brad Dourif's emotional reaction and the music behind it,
yes.
it really just, I don't know. I was at a really messed up time in my life when I watched it too. So I was just like,
I'm not, I will admit, I am not personally a Halloween 2 guy, but I do like that scene a lot. I think I love that Rob Zombie doesn't cut pretty much. He just lingers, and just that scene goes on for so long.
I mean,
and it is brutal to watch.
So there's a lot of good stuff I like about Rob Zombie, but a lot of bad stuff too. And I'm hopeful to see the monsters. So hopefully, you know, if we talk again, we can maybe we can talk about Rob Zombie some more. But so final chapter. Is that what we were on? Jesus.
Yeah, we were on the final chapter.
Having such good conversations here. I'm forgetting. All right. So final chapter, favorite kill, both of us, throwing out the twin thrown out the window. Fucking amazing.
Yep.
And now we're down to number 1. And I have a weird feeling that it might be that Friday 13th, possibly.
Yeah, probably. This whole list could technically be a Friday 13th film. And I feel like outside of like Scream 4, like all the films that I've loved, and like even like films that were like on the cusp, were like other horror films that kind of remind me of Friday 13th, like freaking like Strangers Pray at Night when they go full slot, like if you got it, so
a lot of shit was born from that.
Number 1, baby, is Friday 13th Part 6, Jason Lives.
Nice.
When I die and I ascend into heaven or hell, this is going to be the first movie that I watch.
Okay.
This is in a lot, like, yes, I will tell people Silence of the Lambs is my favorite movie, just to like say that, like, yes, this textbook example of what a perfect movie is, but secretly, this is my favorite movie. This is the movie that I watch all the time. This is the movie that I quote all the time. This is the movie that like I am just obsessed with.
Okay. See, that's perfect. See, for me, I would always say like Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, was my favorite horror movie ever for a long time, because I thought that's what you were supposed to say, right?
Yeah.
But then finally, for the past like year, I've just been coming out and saying it. Pumpkinhead is my number 1 every day, all day. I don't care what people say about it. It's my favorite horror movie ever. So I respect that. I respect your opinion on that.
So like when people say, why are they need to let a franchise die, or like sequels this, I'm like, technically I cannot say that, because my favorite horror film is like a 6th installment into a franchise. So you never really know. The third, like, this is why Jason needs to get out of Jason has been on a sabbatical too long. He needs to come back and kill again, because it would be his 13th installment, and I will not die.
It'd be a big movie.
You know, it would be a big movie. We are in a slasher resurgence right now, more than ever, and we need the King Daddy who made 80s slash. Like, yes, Halloween was a big crucial hit, but dare I say, I think Friday the 13th is the reason why slashers took off, because you had Halloween and people were like, "Oh, this is great," and the creators, I love that they never, from day one, have always said, "Yeah, we were ripping off Halloween. We were ripping off real life."
Absolutely, came right out and said it.
Came out right and said it. We're like, we saw the market. And they made a market, you know. We got 8. I made a video about this too. We we got 8. Like, I'm telling y'all, I make a ton of Jason content.
That's all right.
I'm telling you, like, I'm keeping this franchise moving, y'all. I made a video where I show we got 8 Friday the 13th films in a decade.
Yes.
8.
I mean, what was it? Almost one every year.
One every year.
With like 2 of them being maybe a year and a half.
I love that final chapter came out, and then a year later, part 5 came out. It was like they immediately went right into production.
Right.
They called it final chapter, but they knew it wasn't going to be the final chapter.
They knew what they had. They knew what they had.
But part 6, everything about this movie, and even Kevin Williams has said that part 6 was an inspiration for Scream. So because this is like meta, but not super meta. Like, you have characters like kind of breaking the fourth wall, where they're like, I know anybody standing out there in a hockey mask is no good. You know, like I've seen enough horror movies to know that a man standing in a hockey mask is no good.
Right.
And also, who knew turning Jason into a zombie would end up being the best
This
thing for the
was
franchise?
Kane Hodder's first film, yes?
Incorrect. He came in
Am I
7.
Okay.
I think Chris something.
He
This is his.
didn't play it in really? Wow, I
Yeah,
thought
I
he did.
think it's. I'm gonna have to Google this real quick.
No, that's
Jason
fine. Yeah,
Lives.
because tell me
Jason
I'm wrong because I
actor.
thought it
I'm
was Jason Lives.
pretty. It's C.J. Graham.
Okay, no, the one with the psychic girl. You're right.
Yes, you're
Now
right.
that I'm remembering it.
It's the
Yes.
one with the psychic
Okay.
girl, which is another installment that has really grown on me over the years.
Me too.
It's
Yeah,
it's fun. It's
it
just
is.
fun. You know,
But yeah, no, I mean zombie, or should I say Rambo zombie Jason was
exactly.
so cool. Badass, man.
And he gets like one of outside of horror, one of my favorite film franchises is the James Bond franchise. So he
Yeah.
gets a James Bond title, like he throws it in the blood. And come on, you're
Yeah.
making this movie for
That
me.
intro was really actually pretty fucking cool. I actually have a video on my phone that I've been meaning to post to TikTok. All my favorite intros counted from worst to first. I need to post it because I just
Yeah,
love it.
man.
But
Like
yeah,
I feel you. I've got things in my
the
draft that I'm
intros,
like,
the intros to these movies are so cool though, you know?
yeah, absolutely.
And
And
really, yeah, but Jason Lives is one of my favorites too.
oh yeah, I love so many of the kills in this movie. I love that we're at Camp Crystal Lake again. I love one of my favorite scenes in this movie is when Jason goes into the campers like room and like all these kids are like in their bed and Jason's just like walking like
Yeah.
I mean, I used to camp, so like for me, it's just like a
Yeah.
level of fear. Like it would freak me out so much. And Tommy Jarvis is my second favorite final guy next to Ash Williams.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
I love this.
Well, yeah, we get adult Tommy Jarvis in this.
Yeah.
For like the official Tommy Jarvis, because I do not consider part 5 Tommy Jarvis he did a good job in the role, but no, I don't want to take anything from him. But this guy,
no,
he was Tommy Jarvis. Yeah.
Tom Matthews is my Tommy Jarvis. I
Yeah.
love what he did with the role. I love Megan as a final girl.
Yes.
I just everything about this movie. I love how meta it gets at times. I also love my favorite kill is the paintball kill because mainly just because I love when Jason rips the arm off and he just kind of like admires his own strength. He's just like, I can do this. Okay. It's awesome.
I never looked at it that way, like him doing it and then realizing, oh shit, like that's what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
I never thought about it that way.
That's what I love. Like you have the smiley face, like the blood on the smiley face, and then he just admires his work for a second. And I'm like,
that's cool.
The kill itself was fine, but that moment makes it my favorite. I just love when he like breaks, kind of like almost breaks the fourth wall, just like, I did that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite kill. This is my favorite movie, and also He's Back by Alice Cooper.
Yes.
It is my go. It is the song that will be played at my wedding, at my funeral, at my entrance into hell. Like I'm telling you,
I'd be cool with it at my funeral for sure. Like he's back, you know, just have a great fucking flame and CO2 show coming out on my favorite kill personally. I think I have to go cliche and say the RV kill, but specifically when he puts the girl's face through the wall, because I think somewhere deep in some people's minds that was the predecessor to the ice kill in Jason X.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, no, I also do love the RV kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but Jason Lives, man, it is like my go-to. It is my main comfort film. It's my favorite horror film. I am a Jason fanatic. I would literally like Sean Cunningham, Victor Miller, like I would do unspeakable acts to get on the set of the 13th Halloween, the 13th Friday 13th film. Unspeakable acts. Whatever you ask, like
I hope you will, because I would love to interview you after that and all the unspeakable acts you had to do to get onto it.
Exactly. Of course, back then I will plead the fifth in the future.
Yeah,
I never did any of that. I don't know
None
what
of
you're
it.
talking about.
No, didn't even say it.
Yeah, never.
I think it makes sense for your number one to be a Friday the 13th, especially Jason Lives. It's really one of the best horror sequels out there. There's no denying it, and that's fair.
Can I ask you, which is your favorite, Final Chapter or Jason Lives? I just love that, because I have never seen a Friday 13 ranking that looks the same. Everyone's ranking has always looked different. It's maybe close, but it's always different. Everyone has it all.
I went through a huge resurgence of Friday the 13th movies last month. I watched from 1 all the way to the end, and my ranking changed a lot. So Jason Lives was my second for a long time. And Friday the 13th Part 2 was like in the middle somewhere for me. Now, Friday the 13th Part 2 is my favorite. It's bumped up to number 1.
Love Jenna as Jenna as final girl. I love her.
Yeah, I love her. And I never liked it. And then I watched it again. I don't know why. And then it just struck a chord with me. So either way, that was my number 1. Jason Lives kind of bumped up to my number 3 now.
Okay, what's number 2?
Number 2 was the Final Chapter. And before, for like 5 years straight, they were swapped. So, it's not too much different, but after watching the Final Chapter a little more, that beat it for me.
Yeah, I always love asking that question. It's like on a first date, I'm like, all right, hand me your phone. I'm going through your letterbox. I'm finding your Friday 13 ranking, and I am judging, like, okay, if this is going to work or not.
This leads me to a question that I've been leading up to, because I need to know from a huge Friday the 13th fan. The remake for me is at number 4 right now.
Love that. Okay. That was my first Friday 13 film I ever saw in the theaters. Technically the only one I ever saw in the theaters. I am trying my hardest. I live in the South, so I don't get these restoration screenings that like Alamo Drafthouse puts on all the time.
Right.
So I am trying my hardest to see one of those sequels in the theater, but I don't understand the hate that the remake gets, in my opinion.
Me neither.
It is like they literally was like, we're gonna give Jason, we're gonna put drugs in it, we're gonna put nudity in it. Yes, the characters are extremely disposable, and I do wish they were slightly likable. But my God, that Jason is Derek Myers as Jason Voorhees is a beast.
When I first saw him running at the dude in the beginning, he's running and the guy's on the ground backing up like this. I felt fear from a Jason character for the first time in 10 years when I was watching that in the theater. Like, I was backing up with the guy. I was like,
exactly. I saw it in the theaters too. And I had the time of my life with it. My favorite kill in that particular one, well, I don't even know if they kill him, but it's like when the machete's going through the floorboards.
Yes.
Oh my God. That was pure tension.
And the girl hops in the tub. There's no space. So the guy is sitting there like, what the fuck?
Yep. Exactly. I love the remake. I think it's about middle tier for me. And I feel like it's like every time I watch it, like it's like it always gets like moved around. Like I don't think I've ever had a Friday 13th ranking that has always like, let's see, I have it at number 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, see, and what you were getting at is a really good point, because Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street really don't change too much for me.
They don't.
Right?
No.
Friday the 13th, if I ever go through, like I just did, usually once every year or two, I watch all of them again. They always change. It's always swapping up more than any other franchise.
Yeah. New Beginnings and Jason Goes to Hell, they stay at the bottom.
Yes, yeah.
But all the others always get moved around, in my opinion. Like even Jason Takes Manhattan, I'm starting to be a lot more kinder to, and I still have yes, he's Jason on a boat. I get it, but it's also got some fun kills, and it's the shot of Jason in Manhattan is iconic. It's it's such a great shot.
It is in such contrast to the backwoods camp Jason we know.
Exactly.
To see the buildings behind him, I love it. Yeah, no matter what I think about the movie, that shot is amazing.
Yeah. I'll just quickly run through them. I have Manhattan at 10, New Blood, the telekinetic one at 9, Part 3 at 8. Which that just feels like a crime. It should be higher, but it has to go somewhere.
I would have agreed with you 6 months ago, but I just rewatched it and I'm like, it's not as good as I remember.
The final act goes on way too long. That's my biggest gripe.
It does.
It goes on way too long. I'm like, wrap it up. Then I have the remake. Then I have Freddy versus Jason, which is just a blast. Yes, the effects look poor, but honestly, it's
we got Jason on fire in a cornfield carving a path with flames. Like that scene alone deserves all the credit.
Absolutely. And I am under the impression that Jason won in that movie. So you're not going to change my mind. People like to say, but he's in water. He hates water.
Yeah, right.
Freddy winks. He's in a dream. I'm like, no, he's not.
It's always left undecided, but you already know who I think's winner. But
yeah.
That's for another conversation.
Yeah. Jason X is 5. 4 is part 2. 3 is the original, and here's the thing with 3. Here's the thing with the original. It was my very first horror film.
Okay.
Ever.
Yeah. So that's your Nightmare on Elm Street too.
Exactly. And keep in mind, I grew up in the South, the Bible Belt. I come from a family divided. My mom hates horror. My dad loves horror. So I was a mama's boy. I sided with my mom for the longest time. And then everything I thought I knew about horror, like I had all these preconceived notions, went out the window in the opening scene because you're following this girl. She's getting in tractor. She's going around and think this is going to be our final girl. She gets freaking killed. And it blew my mind. And then you hear about Jason Voorhees and then you realize that it's not Jason Voorhees. Like literally changed my life. I became a horror fan that moment, that day. And I realized the fact that I got so zoned in and I watched it on TV with commercials and I was scared out of my wits. And I was like, in like October of 2005, and I literally told my dad 15 minutes before I even watched it. I was like, Dad, I'm about to watch my first horror film. It was like when I brought home, it's like bringing home a girl for the first time. He was like, he was so ecstatic.
Oh man, that's actually that's why when people freaked out about the Drew Barrymore thing in Scream, it's like, it's kind of been done before already. Friday the 13th one. But no, that's amazing. Yeah, it turned everything on its head, set up what we needed for Friday the 13th. And then we got Jason, which the rest is history.
Yeah, and that ending is like my favorite like closing moment to a horror film. It's like that ending and then the closing moments of Silence of the Lambs are like my 2 favorite endings in a movie.
Oh yeah.
Like I love it.
So that was number 3, right?
Number 2 is Final Chapter, and then number 1 is obviously Jason Lives, baby.
That is a great list. I cannot point out any flaws in that list. Honestly, anybody's Friday the 13th ranking, unless you have Jason Goes to Hell at 1. I don't judge people. I think I might.
I would be like, are you just trying to be cool? Like
yeah, I might be like, are you trying to be the edgy dude? Come on,
because guy. I mean, like, let me look at your letterbox and see how many times you've actually watched it. Because something tells me you're not actually watching it if that's your favorite.
If I ever hear which to this day I have not. If I ever hear someone point to that one as 1, I think it'll be the first day I gatekeep a horror community.
Like now, granted, I am a massive fan of the fan film Never Hike Alone.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you brought that up. I love that fucking movie.
I love it. And I love that the fan films community is like keeping Jason alive right now. And that fan film, dare I say, is like better than some of these films that are in canon.
Yeah.
And as a massive Tommy Jarvis fan, when he showed up
in the ambulance at the end,
let me tell you, the second that Kickstarter started for the sequel, like Never Hike Alone 2, I threw money at it. I was like, I need to see this. This like Womp Stomps Films is giving me Jason content right now. I was a massive fan of the game. Like I played the game. Like You cut me, I bleed Jason Voorhees, baby. Like,
I love it. I love it.
Love this man so much.
See, because he's been put on the third back burner of horror, and we need people like you to keep Jason running.
I will. And I tell people all the time, you're excited about this new Scream movie. You're excited about this new Halloween movie. You're excited about all these films. Jason is the reason why they are back. They found the loophole in the Friday the 13th thing. And because they were in court, all the other franchises are now coming back because of Friday the 13th. So yes, Friday the 13th started as like because of Halloween, but now all these legacy sequels that we're getting with all these things are because of Friday the 13th. So y'all,
I agree with you.
Y'all, let me tell you, when Friday the 13th Part 13 eventually comes, because I'm speaking it into existence, I am going to be my absolute worst self. Y'all are not going to hear me shut up about it.
All right. Well, see, now I have to peg this right now, because if there is a sequel to the remake or a new Friday the 13th movie that comes out, I'm going to need to interview you and get your opinion, because now I'm like, I need to have it. I need to know.
I could literally write a novel about Jason Voorhees. I
love it.
It's like my favorite horror franchise. I know those movies like the back of my hand. I'm obsessed with them. So yeah, that is my favorite. Not only is it my favorite slasher sequel, it's just my favorite slasher film. It's my favorite movie. Awesome. I love Jason Lives. So
well, I'd say that not only did we do a great My Top 5 first episode, but we actually really got to know Dillon here. So I'm kind of glad how this went. I think we had a great episode. And now we know he might be a little bit of a Friday the 13th fan. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
No, seriously, man. This has been fun, honestly. Like going back and forth with you, talking about these movies. It's been a blast. And hopefully we can have you on again.
Hell yeah. I'm here anytime.
Awesome. I'm going to post all his links down at the bottom, along with the list that he provided for his top 5. And make sure you go and follow and check him out. Like I said, if you got his personality on this video, just imagine his TikToks. They're all awesome.
Yeah,
they're entertaining.
Yeah, I make plenty of edits and cuts, so not as many ums and yahs. So
that's what I like about it. Real conversation.
Real conversation.
But yeah, no, make sure you go and check him out. And if you still feel like it, make sure you check out Fandom at Random or Horror at Random on TikTok, because that's where I'm at. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time. And Dillon, thank you again. Hang out for a second once I end this and we'll talk. But yeah, come back for all the random goodness. Thanks, guys.